including Kenya, to deploy digital networks and infrastructure. And the European Investment Bank is heavily involved in supporting these investments. Actually, over the last 5 years, EIB's digital economy lending, looking at sub-Saharan Africa, have mobilized a cumulative 4.3 billion euros, and it is growing. To the larger population of Kenya, the discussion happening in this room today might not touch them directly, but when they get the opportunity to communicate better, go online to study, be included in the financial system through mobile banking or cross-border integrated payment systems, sell their products or services online globally, their lives will be touched in a transformative way. The European Investment Bank stands ready to support Kenya to achieve its economic and development goals for mutual benefit. Thank you very much.
Thank you indeed. Allow me to take this opportunity now to invite the European Commissioner for Trade and Economic Security, His Excellency Maros Sefcovic. Welcome. A round of applause for him, please.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, dear Cabinet Secretaries, my dear friend Thomas from the Ostros from the EIB, the ambassadors and distinguished representatives of the business community. First and foremost, I really would like to thank the organizers and to you personally, Mr. President, that under your leadership such a meeting could take place, and also that thanks to your leadership the relationship between European Union, Kenya and the whole Africa is thriving. I have to start by sending the best greetings from the President of the European Commission, who visited Kenya personally several times, and I can tell you that she is one of the strongest supporters of the closer European and African relationship. And I think this is very important, especially in these days, because we see that the global trade is undergoing significant changes, and I want to appreciate the very deep discussion we already had with Secretary Lee, and which we will continue, of course, after our conference here this morning. Because the changes which we see on the global trading floor means that the world suddenly seems to be more polarized, more fragmented and more unstable. And therefore, I think in the times like this, you are appreciating much more trusted partnership. You see who are your real friends, with whom it's easier to do the trade, upon whom you can rely in the time of stress and complication. And that's the reason we all Europeans are here. That's the reason why I flew straight from Japan over to Kenya, just to underscore how the relationship with Kenya, with Africa, is important for the European Union. Because I think that today here we can showcase very important agreement we have signed, economic partnership agreement. I believe that it was a milestone for European Union, for Kenya, but this is also kind of pointer, kind of beacon for the rest of the countries across the Africa. Because the proof of this agreement is also demonstrated, not like the pudding in the eating, but in the revenue, in the growth of trade, in a number of business delegations crisscrossing the both continents. And I think here we have a very good story to tell. This EPA, this Economic Partnership Agreement, is in place in something more than a year. And immediately we can see the positive impact on the growth of the trade volume. We are talking about 3.4 billion euros. We are talking about increase of 13%. And we have seen also the positive impact on overall investments flow, which over the decade grew by more than half, by 53%. And of course, we are very proud and very happy that the European Union is Kenya's first export destination, accounting for more than 14% of the exports. The discussion we had with His Excellency, Mr. President, and Cabinet Secretary, my new friend, with whom I'm sure we will be very intensively communicating, Lee, is the fact that I think we are just discovering the potential which exists between Kenya and the European Union. And I would say that the first testimony to that is the fact that today we are going to inaugurate Eurochem Kenya, because this just demonstrates that there is interest not only from the political level, but from concrete business operators, from the business leaders who are gathered here in this room, who just want to tap into this potential and make sure when we see each other next time that these percentages would be higher, investment would grow, and trade would be bigger than we have seen it today. When I'm traveling and I'm going to these international conferences, I'm always happy when Thomas Ostros is with me, because here I will do a little bit of a promotion for him and for his bank, because sometimes we tend to forget the European Investment Bank is the biggest public bank on this planet. Nobody has bigger bank than the EIB. And when they put the financial muscle into something, it works. And I know Thomas, that he is a very dedicated person, and just few projects that he mentioned, he just did it out of the modesty, because I know that list is much longer. Plans are even for more investments, and I'm sure that you will be talking to the EIB colleagues a lot. About the future potential, I would just say that we see a huge opportunity for trade. We discussed with Mr. President and also with Cabinet Secretary potential for deeper cooperation in the services, deeper cooperation in the investments. We've also been very open about certain trade irritants, which will go into the detail later on. But we also found a way how to resolve them, how to use the structure created by this agreement to go along the way, and if there is a problem, to take care of it immediately, not to accumulate the things, but to make sure that we are having a clear path for the investment. If you allow me to end on the personal note, I spent in Africa probably my most beautiful years, because it was my first posting where as a young diplomat I was posted to Africa. I still remember not only warm weather, but warmth of the people, beauty of the nature, excellence, sense of humor, and Africa gave me the most precious gift. My second daughter was born here, so I am I'm a big supporter of Africa, as you can see, and therefore I'm so glad that we have such a trusted partner in Kenya, in His Excellency the President, in the Cabinet Secretary, because I'm sure there will be a lot of great and good things for both Africa and Europe happening here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Your Excellency Maros. And from our discussions today, I can confirm that in you we have a friend, and that we are very optimistic of the days to come. Your Excellency, allow me to make my brief remarks before I invite you. So it is both an honor and privilege to join you today at this great forum on the second Kenya-European Union Business Forum. We are grateful to our friends from Europe for their continued commitment to fostering partnerships and strengthening economic ties between Kenya and Europe. We welcome the collaboration between the public and private sectors, both in Europe and Kenya, which is not only crucial, but also necessary for achieving inclusive and sustainable development. Africa is home to one of the world's largest, fastest growing populations, with abundant natural resources and rapidly expanding markets. Kenya is also a peace-loving nation and a key investment destination for European investments in sub-Saharan Africa. Kenya is also one of the continent's most dynamic economies and the economic and commercial center in Eastern and Central Africa. The country maintains a prudent economic policy necessary for investment. The IMF estimates that in 2024, our GDP grew by 4.5% and predicts a 5.5% in 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenya values its long-standing partnership with the European Union, which has been strengthened by the recently signed Kenya-European Union Economic